session which have occurred. Are there any recommendations coming from the executive session?
Yes, I would like to mention to recommend that we accept the director's recommendation of personnel matters.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Young. All right, all in favor, aye. Unanimous. Thank you. So will you join me for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of
the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If you will, at our seat, please, let's have a moment of silence. Okay, thank you very much. Is there a motion for approval of the?
I make a motion that the agenda is approved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, properly motion and second, all in favor, raise your right hand, say aye. Aye. As unanimously. Okay, introduction of our new board. Let me start by saying that huge welcome. All of you come highly recommended, vetted, and you clearly have a huge part of it. So thank you. Mr. Lawyer, would you like to start down there? Or you may stand if you like. Your choice.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maurice Lawyer. I am a Jasper County resident, native of Jasper County, also a graduate of Jasper County School System. I currently am a local business owner, and I'm the executive director of the Lovecchio Foundation of South Carolina. It's truly an honor to sit amongst friends and colleagues and visionaries in our school system. So I'm happy to.
You left out a key element. I heard you mention it there. But,
I am a graduate of the South Carolina. Where I got my business.
okay. Ms. Fraser, I know you are not new. Introduce yourself.
Leah Frazier, native of Bluffton, South Carolina, graduate of Beaufort School System and an ex-employee of Beaufort School System. Now, school board.
And she elected to share. She's an entrepreneur.
Working on a foundation for empowering students. It's called Why Not Me, helping them to decide on careers and hopefully in the future provide financial support for students. Graduate of USC.
Right. Thank you very much. Ms. Young?
Hi, I'm Dr. Dolores Young. I am the CEO of Agape Family Life Center in Harvey, and also a pastor of Greater Pentecostal Temple as well. So I've enjoyed working with the school district for a number of years, and I'm grateful to be chose to be on the school.
Glad to have you. Let's see, Dr. Pastor Young.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank
For
you.
all of your efforts. I first heard of Dr. Pastor Young 9 years ago, pursuing some volunteer efforts. And I learned about her Agape Foundation up in here. To facilitate others we put together that could actually be able to travel to support that. So we didn't get as much done as we wanted. Here we are again. So second, thank you very much. My name is Paulson Dallas. I'm not a born native of South Carolina, but I've been coming to South Carolina since 1982. I was transferred here to work in an area called Hemingway, Johnsonville, PD area. And was able to retire here from control back in 2010, and have thoroughly enjoyed all the people, and I've learned so much from Beaufort County School District, Jackson County School District, where I volunteered really big on giving back because as a poor kid, people who looked nothing like me and throughout my life, people who didn't speak language, and they gave me a chance. And so we're working hard to make sure. So I'm honored to be here. And last but certainly not least,
Good evening, everybody. I'm Dr. Hazel. I am a retired educator of the Jasper District. After many years in Hampton County School District. I was introduced to ACE more than 30 years ago. My husband taught culinary arts here, and at the time, ACE had early childhood education. And our two older daughters came here every day. It was just the best program ever. And I moved over to Jasper County and started working and connected with ACE. At that time, Dr. Lovecchio was the assistant director, and later on you became the director. So it's been a great journey. I'm glad to be here. I've always been in the service profession, serving people, and I look forward to continuing to serve children and to serve. Thank you for having me.
welcome, Ms. Hazel. I'd like to say for the three new members, uh, they, they have been engaged at the highest level and they come with sterling reputations. And we look to being good partners with you. I think you're going to find out as you hear conversations. Your county school district is committed to anything different. Go talk to the superintendent, myself, any other, for our CFO, and they are on district level. And between the two counties, there's a tremendous amount of upside for them. Very forward. So I'm all about three new working. All right, moving to the consent agenda is a
The motion that the minutes be approved.
thank you. There's a second. Second, Mr. Lawyer, all in favor, say aye. Raise your right hand. Aye. Unanimously. Okay, moving right along, reports and information. Amazing, collaborative, financial.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
My name is Tonya Crosby. I'm the financial officer for Beaufort County School District. I'm a graduate of Beaufort County Schools, and I'm actually attending. My office is in the same building that my high school is in. So I did work for some time in Hampton and Beaufort counties in private firms. So I have a lot of family in the Hampton area. So just have a lot of connections with the area here in Low Country. This is Katie Abar. She's the director of budgeting in the finance department in the school district, and she has been working on ACE for several years now, managing the payroll operations, budgeting. So she does all the work. I just looked on at it at the end, and it's glory, I guess. So I just wanted to hit a few highlights for you today. Just to give you some idea of structure of funding with regard to ACE and Beaufort and Jasper counties. So there are several state laws that kind of created the Beaufort Jasper County for Career Excellence dating back into the 1969 area. There are laws that updated it and clarified some things over the years. But basically, the current funding structure is a 2/3 Beaufort County and 1/3 Jasper County with regard to the operations cost of ACE. So I say operations, I mean teacher salaries, paying the energy bill, the light, just the name, all of the supplies, most of the supplies of the school. So the basic cost of the school, which are about $3.5 million. So total about 2 million, a little over 2 million is Beaufort, and about a little over 1 million is Jasper. You'll see that in the financial presentation today. regard to the capital, so the building infrastructure, major improvements, it is a 50/50 split. That's been involved since the 70s. And so purchases of major improvements would be a 50/50. At the point of potential dissolution any day, which I don't anticipate, but the structure calls for a 50 split, and if there's a split. Uh, so we use that for, if there is major improvements, then we would, and so today we have a lot of financial information because we haven't had an opportunity to get the final report. And it's time for our first quarter report for the new year. So we're going to start today with a summary. We're not going to go through all the details of what you have. We've given you information. We'll do that later if you like the numbers. I wanted you to have those details to see where the money is spent and where it comes from. But primarily, the majority of the funding comes from the two communities. There's a little smattering of state revenue, and then there's a few small revenue. The majority of it comes from the two districts. So I'm going to turn it over to Katie to deliver the numbers to you, and we're going to talk mostly from the executive summary that we provided to just kind of give you a high-level summary, and then at the end, we'll be happy to take any questions.
Good afternoon. Just to review the fourth quarter report from 25, the local revenue at 100.7% of the budget, and spending was at 90% of the budget, which our total balance at $27,097, which is even 22%. Last year, estimated 136,000, came in under budget this 2012. So that was all of the works for the fourth quarter. Are there any questions about?
Fund balance in particular. So we did have an increase in the fund balance from 600,000 to 127,000. The fund balance is 21%, which is about what the Beaufort School District fund balance is. So that's in a very healthy position.
And now the first quarter financial summary for this year for FY25. Local revenue, this is through September 30th. We've received 19%. We're arranging electronic payments, tuition payments for both districts. Okay. And at the moment, as of the end of September, total spending was reported at the budget. The fund balance at the moment is $883,000. It's $900,000 at 22.6%. Are there any questions about the first quarter financials? Just to give an audit update, our auditors are in Manley Martin. November 11th, which was verified and returned to them on November 15th, and we're anticipating to have a final copy issued with clean audit and no audit.
Ms. Abar, can you sort of speak to the significance of
Had planning for at least 4 years, but it's been more like 25.
Well, that's several years with no audit findings. Yeah.
19.
Yes. Yes. So one of the things that is important about that, but just shows some kind of strength and consistency and stability on the team. So I failed to mention that by state law, Beaufort is assigned to oversee operations base. We're here, so very important point.
You recently to, all them for, talk, future county overseas.
So, yes, so the stability is very important, and in a district, it's very important when you go out for a bond issue. We don't typically issue bonds for Jasper to allocate funds. But if you were to need a credit rating group, well, that would be extremely important to have a good fund balance in the district. Also, having to have a clean audit, but also healthy finance. And then, of course, the healthy finance is important to ensure, and especially in the coastal area, having that or just a healthy fund balance to be able to offset any major events, weather events, and any damage caused from that. That's really important to have a little bit of savings in case that happens.
And it, Dr. Young?
How can you say that Beaufort County is controlling funds for ACE?
We oversee the operations, but
That's a state law?
yes, ma'am. Now, first, Lovecchio authority, and I have a backup assignment authority that gives me control of the oversight of our, they come through our financial software, but ultimately banking is done by people and things like that. So we have oversight.
Okay, so ACE plans is included in the Beaufort County.
Every separate legal entities, they're separate bank accounts. They are at different citizens. So different banks. General ledger completely separate, audits completely separate, separated financial. We just happen to work on both.
I think it needs to be, we're just the work on the fiscal management of the.
And there is one bookkeeper here at ACE that we work with to manage flow of budget, monitoring budget, and that sort
No, after you, sir.
You mentioned it's important to fund balance. Is there a scale or a number that will let you know this concern?
a percentage, or a number of days, I think it's 30 days or is that
60.7%, you're well over that. Yeah. It's 30 days.
and Jatana Norris, we've been introduced to Jatana, if everyone- of Jasper County. Also mention that.
Can I also note that, people with drop lower, those steps taken, and the same thing occurred in the partnership, used in Jasper and the financial area, working to get percentage up to 21+%. And it's like having a little cushion in case of catastrophic or unplanned outcome. It's financial services, which most of us just want to know that $150,000, so that you see on that increase in the balance sheet, result of discrete decisions to improve. So just wanted to know that for consideration.
The auditors they'll be submitting the audit by December 1st. After next meeting on February 5th. The audit to the board as well.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna try to go over some of these pictures so you guys understand what's been going on. Exciting. Here's our blood drive. We usually do 2 a semester. We just finished that this week. Up here is some of our staff at our county showcase. They did one last night. This is when I attended Thursday evening. This is our Cosmos students. This was an incredible day. They went over to TCL and worked with their Cosmos. They did a collaborative effort. They shared up college students with one of our Cosmos students, and they met with clients and they got to pursue sort of their passion area, whether it be aesthetics or nails. They worked up clients at TCL, and our teachers and the TCL professors had individual and taught while the students were working, so that modeling. Wonderful to me and the kids, and just hopefully we continue that and begin to expand that across other programs. We had WJCL, and we'll share that with you in a minute. They came out for a little on us. And down here is just an example of our recruiting. And I had mentioned that some of the board members, we have 2 more high schools left. We go to 7 of the 8 high schools to recruit. We meet with all the 10th grade, and we give them interest forms after we recruit and ask them what program they're interested in. We get that data, and we look at it. We email the parents to let them know their child is interested. We email the school to let them know that these students are interested in what programs they're interested in. So we share that data. When we go there, we talk about our programs, we talk about the structure, and then we bring students back. So they're speaking to their school. Each school has a different student pairs that come. So yesterday, or 2 days ago, yesterday, I was at Hilton Head with our counselors. We brought 3 students from Hilton Head. So the 2 schools that are left are Hardyville and Battery Creek. Then we interest this year is much higher than any year I've ever been. A lot of piles, we're getting stacks of papers. I'll give an example. Excuse me, Richmond, we have 65. Now that doesn't mean all 55 will come. But if you think about it, their class is probably 100 students. So 65 students showed interest. As I said, as you go along, some of those students will change their career pathway. Some will decide to want to go to college or do enrollment. Some may not have the credits to be able to come here, but those are, in Bay River, we have close to 200, so the numbers are really high so far. We haven't even measured all the data. So once I get all that data, I'll share it with the board. But we're going to kick that back up to parents and then we start our application process. Hopefully by the end of the school year before Christmas break, start submitting applications. The past on paper, the new counseling team is going to electronic, so I'll be letting you we just found this out this morning. We haven't even publicly announced it, but we did achieve our STEM certification. Nobody has helped us out with that, so we are now the first career center in South Carolina to be Cognia STEM certified. We got a really high score and we rated ourselves, which was really cool. So I hope to do report because, like I said, I woke up to it this excited, but we're looking at the recommendation. So, that's exciting news for us, both districts.
It's the first, that's STEM.
First career center earned Cognia STEM certification. Excited.
Can we give a round of applause?
Good apples and all the one. If I don't give Miss Mongallo credit, I hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's exciting news, and as I did say, Ms. Chappell and a team of our teachers did a wonderful work in that, so it's excellent feather in the cap as well as ours, so. You wanna-
Play this?
Yes, I don't know if anyone got to catch this, it was on the news 2 nights ago. This Evelyn, she's a Hardyville student. Steve, I think the line is working.
No, we're gonna,
Just leave.
yeah, I'm not sure.
So we thought we'd share that with you. Listen, we don't, everyone needs the applause in this one. And I've heard the dust loop, you know, when girls see themselves on TV, so. Awesome.
Dr. Lovecchio, while that video was playing, glanced down at the board this way and then this way. But you know, everyone was facing that direction. There was smiling.
That's good. Thank you. Just some other things. This is a last night at the Beaufort County, the North Broad showcase. We did mock interviews today. They were phenomenal. What we do is we break down our programs and do a job alike. We have like 3 or 4 business partners in. What they do is they sit across and they invite a student up while all the students are in the audience. They do a mock interview. It's a coaching interview. So stop, get interview, get your students real time feedback. And it's one of the most valuable learning experiences you can have because interviewing is a tough thing for anybody. And to get that real time coaching, there's no place that you really get that. You know, usually you either get the job or you don't, but you don't get that feedback. And they get it real time. The students in the audience have to fill out a rubric. And what they do is they can volunteer, but you know, I would say 85% of the students were dressed up for interviews the past 2 days, even if they weren't getting called up. So it was a really fun day on campus. And when I spoke to business partners, they were thrilled with it. Ms. Dixon, put that on. She did a wonderful job. And it was truly one of my favorite days because the excitement the kids have, and they all really appreciative of it. They had a little buzz afterwards. So you were in there for a few. You have anything to add about that?
Uh, I think it makes it real for students, you know, that they're getting ready to go out into the workforce to hear from business owners that are in the community that might potentially hire them is really valuable. And so it's great to do right when they're about to complete their program, and it was a good buzz on this.
In the market, they have like sample resumes or
Oh, yeah.
like mock resumes.
I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but every student brings a resume that they prepare in their ELA class. And I mentioned a little bit of an orientation prior, but they all take their ELA here. The students that don't take ELA, we're pulling them out separately and have no skills. We have dual enrollment that you don't take ELA with, so we're making sure we're touching every student so they get a professional resume with it. I just want to really quickly go over the goals. I've shared these with the governance team prior, but we haven't met last June. So one of the things is improve our completer placement. And what I want to do is connect our students that are graduating in our making sure that we're in their place. And ironically enough, this was a area that we were found as our only area that we made a recommendation for growth in our STEM certification. This exact indicator. So it aligns perfectly to kind of our goals that we had outlined for ourselves. So we're in the process of improving that and doing some reach out and things like today, helping us get where we need to get. Along with that, digital portfolios. We're trying to have 60% of our students they have a professional presence online. So when employers Google them, it's LinkedIn rather than Facebook or Instagram popping up. And one of the beauties of that is, to go back to what Mr. Porter asked, you can print your resume off LinkedIn. It's a really professional looking resume. So ultimately, we'd like to have a complete digital portfolio on LinkedIn. We have work samples. When I was there today, an employer said, to some of our collision students, do you have any pictures of your work? And they didn't make a connection yet, but hopefully that's a learning opportunity to go back to. Yes, I do. They're on my LinkedIn page. I encourage you to work because here's the process I use. Here's my resume. Here's my credentials on it. So we're trying to piece that all together. It's a process. We run into little hiccups. It's the first time we're putting this in place, but our English teachers are working through it, and our students are working through it. So hopefully it'll get smoother and smoother as we go on and people understand the value of it, and that you don't need to make resumes this updated, their LinkedIn profile, they can print out that. They can apply for jobs through that with direct links places. People and professionalism, just a culture of excellence. We talk about one of the things I talk about with my teachers. Making sure that they do the right thing, stay on path, think of how they treat students, and don't create problems that are adult created, solve problems that are student created, and really work on that goal for our kids. Your certifications is something that the state is putting in. Those are industry certifications. And I talked earlier about how our students get OSHA, they get CPR and stuff, and then they get their industry certification. We've been doing that for a while, but now the state is organizing for every school and center and any student face already. So we have the structures in place, but we're building up some catch-all. So the student doesn't get one or fails one, they have backup plans. So they still can leave ACE called already, even if, for instance, they don't pass, say, the bombing exam. They have a backup that they get enough points because the state's requiring it to your point system to be called already. So we're working on that, and that goes into place this year with freshmen. We don't have until junior year, so we have a couple cohorts left to do that. That's something that's in place right now with the CPOs and Jasper. So I've worked with Silver's county director, Dr. Hart, who's the Jasper County director, and collaborate on this. And last is content area writing, and this is really getting our CTE teachers to write. I've talked many times before that a lot of our teachers come from the industry, didn't go through the traditional educational pathway to become educators, and struggle with writing, struggle with teaching, writing. But we tried to implement a system called John Collins Writing to train our staff on, and we use this. And one of the things that every teacher has to do is student learning objective goal at the start of the year as part of their evaluation process. We did it with content area writing for our teachers so we could meet this goal while doing something they already had to do. And Ms. Shelby, you want to talk about that? You saw that.
Sure, we're actually in the midst of the final conferences teachers for their student learning objectives, and that all teachers had to include a writing component in their SLO. So at the end, which is what we're doing now, they bring student samples, and I upload them into our systems and everything. But they bring student samples of that writing. So we talk about how that writing, helps their instruction. So we're kind of closing out those SLOs now, and we'll see how everyone has their SLOs with that writing component.
So once those are done next semester, that'll evolve into our discussions about some of those writing samples. What's good writing? Refer back to our school library. So trying to tie that all together. So our teachers have the confidence and the ability to get our students writing in the content area. This is our current enrollment. I know it's a little hard to see. I think it should be in a printout there. Um, we have 165 students currently on campus. It's broken down by program. And if you go over to the next one, this is our enrollment that we are expecting for next semester. And we still have some available spots that we have put aside. And some of those are for our JASP students. And we've been, Mr. Melton has been in communication with the theater schools because last year, for some odd reason, we didn't get the interest initially. It was picked up in the later months after, so to speak, when we collected it at the deadline. So we got about a few students from Harvard, I don't know the exact number, but about a month ago. So we continue to share those openings with for trying to get more students enrolled if they have that interest. And eventually, if there's a waiting list in some of these programs, we'll open that up to anybody if we get close. But yes, sir.
With having the STEM cognitive certification, how many more classes?
I think that's something that we'll talk about once maybe the facilities get a little bit more. These are spaces that can be repurposed for additional classes. And my goal would be definitely to expand. I was looking at the school map recently. There was about 3 or 4 additional spaces we could utilize. Take some renovations on the job thing. And what I would do is, as mentioned earlier, start the students doing a survey, let them job market in the low country and beyond, forecasting especially what jobs are coming. And then what are the needs in comparison to the 2 districts? I don't want to be redundant to the program that's already one of the districts in both districts. Right here where we're competing, so to speak, same. I want to automatically supplement to feeder districts and have something that, 20 kids in a cohort, graduation students, that we bring in that 18 students here and solve that their need, as opposed to you guys having different those programs in different areas. So that's something I think will be flat between, obviously the students, the CPE directors, and obviously the student interest and the feasibility of the teacher to teach that. But those are something I think I'm kind of excited for. We haven't really expanded probably since Marine Tech. So I would say EMT and Marine Tech came in roughly about 4 or 5 years ago. So we haven't had a program.
Programs currently have in place,
Mm-hmm.
given the number of teachers you currently have, increase in enrollment could the facility sustain?
What we do is when we're at full capacity with like just around 200 students. What we do is we have to look at different variables. Nail Tech is a smaller classroom, and there are 16 desks. Nail desks. Each student has their own station, so to speak, where it has it's a special nail station. We can't put 18 kids in there and have 2 kids sharing stations. So that's 60. They do like auto tech, where we have 3 lifts and the classroom. We try not to do 18 in any of those because it's hard to manage and kids can hide. Some of them do, they go to work. But you have to be able to supervise and understand that there are going to be kids working independently in these programs. In building construction, our sheds are outside, right? So kids working outside, kids in the classroom, and kids inside on the shop, maybe using steel saws, miter saws, and so forth. He has to rotate them on 3 different stations. So you have to be cognizant of the safety of the students when you put the numbers in. So really, beyond cosmetology, we don't go over 18 in any other program. And we haven't really exhausted a little bit either. We're sticking around 18 just because of the floor and the amount of space, workspace that kids need. So it's about 200 kids. So we were looking at 170. Like I said, usually like last year, which when we ended our recruiting, we were full. But over time, over the summer, and over over the start of the school year, kids who's moving sometimes we're usually around 155, 180 at the beginning of every semester anyway, because by that time, kids would drop into the kids to come back in when school starts.
There were two slides. I certainly would love to get a copy. And then
Oh.
it's in the folder?
Yes,
Great, yeah.
and I can email you a copy. Okay. Our year-to-date attendance is 94%, and as I said, it's really high. Well, the majority of students go to their feeder school first, come here via bus. So we're really proud of that. And here's our numbers of fall completers. And as I mentioned, we'll track every student and will be called through ready. The only obstacle we have for being 100% would be a makeup at this current date. And we've been really pushing those kids to get in here so we can get them across. But if they do fail, ultimately they wouldn't be deemed college and career ready or completers, and that would be an attendance failure, get over 6,000. So some of the kids have been absent, but we do have some time coming up. We allow them to do their speed time at their feeder school. They can do logistics of getting here from these far distances. And right now, out of these 132, there's 833 total certificates among those students, and we're still getting them in. We still have our major testing coming up today for nail tech. In the middle of our auto ASC testing, so we still have a number of industry tests that come up, and those are scheduled all of them by the state. For instance, our CNA test, we have to upload information, apply, and the state gives us a date. Same with nail tech. So they're starting to be scheduled down for early December. So hopefully we'll see that number jump dramatically as those complete their this was our Friends and Family Day. This was an amazing day where we use this day to welcome in our new students who are starting in January. So Saturday, and services. Do a little flea market, so we people off the street in. It was pretty amazing because this day, it was a Saturday, 45% of our students showed up, which, if you think about it, it's a pretty large number to show up on a Saturday. Uh, really thrilled about that. I, I'm an Arizona State grad, so this was our first student we've had since I've been here that got into ASU. She's one of our EMT students, so I told her I'd post a picture, and I'm really proud about her son though at ACE. We had the state superintendent out for a visit a month ago. And she for the ability to meet students, and our students did a really wonderful job being ambassadors, both for Jasper and these facilities, and talking about some of our needs that we have with the actual facility, and sharing all the good things we do. And I think she was very happy with her visit, and we're thrilled that the opportunity to come out. Thank the superintendent for inviting her out. And this was our advisory, and our advisory is where we invite our business partners in, and this is where we have a representative, about 3 representatives each program. They come in the first hour, we serve our students get here. Our college is prepared, they come early on that day to serve. And they meet with our teachers about trends in the industry, hiring practices. They give us donations. And then after that hour, they go back out and they talk about different things, the pros and cons of the profession, some of the things that you run into that they don't talk about what they look for in employees, some of the, stories from kind of the hands-on field. So that's one of our really great days because they dress up, they're really excited, and business partners really show up for that event, and it's wonderful. One of my favorite things because the business partners are really appreciative of the time that they get to do. Yes, sir. All right, anytime.
As we talk about rate, not from the number particularly, but when you look at the number of students that are completing the program, certified or college and career ready, is there a number of students that you have that are going to 2-year college or those that are going direct?
That's the data that we're trying to capture in our improvement plan. A our counselor and CDA have been tasked with that for this year. Because we had an idea, and one of the difficulties we had in the past was school in January. We don't see them from January until they graduate, but I've email some of that information as best as we can get, just so we can track it a little bit more. Because some of the kids have said, well, I'm here, I'm going here, and then I see them months later and they're not. I understand that. That's we still have a half a year left and things are going to change. But we want to have a little bit more certainty. That's a lost plan. If a lot more of our kids are going to college, like we had a student here, Dr. Garcia, who came back, he was in our electrician program, he's going for electrical engineering. Right? If I know that a majority of our kids want to go, then we'll start to increase our college visits, right? Or having that colleges visit us. We can map out our services to students that better meet their needs based on actual data rather than qualitative data that we can.
The career counselors that are high school.
Yeah.
I think that college career readiness piece, some of the question you'd asked about whether they're going off for a 2-year degree, they probably facilitate whoever your contact person here is.
Yeah.
If they just get in touch with them, I think that facilitate that data.
They usually meet here actually once a month, so I can jump in here and talk about that. That's data I definitely want to capture, and I want to get it as late in the school year as possible. So that's something we are working on. I said I looked at the kids who call, even though they graduated, you can put them in contact with an employer or potential employer, vice versa, because you do get calls throughout the year, and right now it's hard because the kids on campus still have a year to go. So we really recommend it to be on part-time.
I think that data collection, students is a superb idea. Any consideration of actually migrating that to existing and continuing alumni association, ACE grad?
We talked about it. We're hoping that LinkedIn helps us with that and also helps us with that data collection. Because if we get the kids on there and we get them updating that and following ACE, because we created an ACE page, so then we can just go to the ACE page and see who's following ACE and find the students and then make those connections. So we're hoping that as this program with LinkedIn gets stronger, it'll be like a database for us to find those students where they are. And we have to do a follow-up report to the state. So for instance, around February, we'll get it. February, March, we can email them. Here's what remembers this, right? The follow-up report. I go, because do it, right? And then we'll get that information and then contact everyone that just graduated. So we get it, but it's also hard because phone calls, numbers get disconnected, emails are there. Just sometimes we've done really well. This is part of our Perkins report card. Our Perkins, the money you get from the federal government, they give us a report card on how we're doing those indicators. That's one of them. But I would like it even broken down even more. Not just a season, a 2-year, or she's in a 2-year college or 4-year college. They're employed or they're doing nothing. I want to have the specific data. Where are they going to college? What are they going to college for? That's the stuff I find more valuable. So we're hoping LinkedIn evolves into that over time. And it's the kids in that habit of using it. And teachers teaching it too. Yeah. Just a couple of updates. State is actually working on and I'm part of a subcommittee that we've had a couple of meetings. They're working on a report card for TC. To give us a report card. So that's something that's new that from the state level. I'm hoping, as I mentioned earlier, that we can get the architectural work late December or early January. The new architects are approved in the county, and we can start that process. Recently, we were awarded a $23,000 safety grant from the state. which we are using for the purchase of some new radios, which will allow us to be in direct contact with school administration. I know Beaver County implemented this already, different the transportation for both counties, sheriff's office for both counties, and it'll help us with security. So they're really expensive. We hadn't really budgeted for them, and we're hoping that we can, once we get that money coming across, we can get it. Actually, tomorrow or Friday, pardon me, there's someone coming up with the company just to see what we need really level to increase that. And I talked about recruiting a little bit earlier. I'm sorry.
You might want to explain that, not just radio. Radios, $23,000 for radios. So, like they're often, so they can reach out. Wow.
Listen, I'm still learning it.
Okay.
And I know when I first saw the quote for 5 of them.
Yeah.
I was like 23,000. Like, am I gonna get out? It's really for it's direct connection to first responders, to other districts, personnel. It just eases the communication. And we currently have an outdated radio system. I mean, we haven't had new radios that have been here for only 10 years. And when a teacher's carrying a radio in a shop, it's a beating. You know, in welding, the magnets in the radios, you dust that thing off every year, take it apart, full of, grinding.
Some of this radios are,
Inclusive programming, inclusive licensing. I thought it was, the invoice itself had like 30 lines, and I'll be honest with you, I had to defer to the county maintenance, operations department because language I can't. So it's, and Mr. Odd and his team will probably be so forth. So, but the state is funding some of them, and that's great. We are actually have some funding that we put aside for technology that we're going to hopefully get some new radios in the classroom level that aren't as sophisticated, just for side communication. As I mentioned, they're in and out of their classrooms, in other buildings. There are saws, noises, stuff like that. So communication is key when we're trying to dismiss a student or something was to ever happen. The PA system, just a lot of it isn't always going to work if the teacher's outside the classroom. Next week, and I mentioned this to superintendents, we are doing a Latai Legacy Challenge. That will be next Tuesday, right before break. Mr. Latai was the for county. He retired at the end of June, and he unfortunately passed the 80 with a fishing accident. Was over with his father. I think a month and a half after he retired. Yeah. So he was a great guy. Yeah, he was a champion of CPE. He was a New Englander, so he took me under his wing when I moved down here. As I said, I was a high school, and middle school high school there I wasn't a CPE person. And a lot of what I learned was through his coaching and telling me, no, you can't do that, don't be a knucklehead, is all he could say. He was just a great guy, he had great influence on me and the kids, and he was always looking to improve things and double checking. And hey, look at this, and I go, oh, I'm not my data that I didn't do. But, we are trying to honor him, and this is truly from the welding teachers really started this, and I'm really just facilitating most of the 3 welding teachers, the one here at ACE, the Bay River welding teacher, and the welding teacher, are doing it this next Tuesday. I know Jasper's off the whole week, but their students are coming in as well. What is this? It's not a competition, it's education. And they've worked hard. They have sponsors from Linden Gas, who is one of our vendors, Miller Electric, TCL is coming to judge their welding instructor. And it's going to be really a drop-in for people who know Ralph, because he loves to talk and walk around. It's part of CTE, but it's also a way the kids do. Each vendor is having them do a 45-minute educational piece for the kids, and then they'll do like a little competition on the side. And I think everyone participating is going to get a sponsor, a barbecue lunch, and a little bit of education. So it's going to be a really fun day. And welcome to pop in, just check it out and pay respects or see the kids in action. So we're excited for that. And like I said, putting that together. So I just want to share that information. our completer ceremonies, that is December 17th and 18th. There's an invitation on your view. I think it's like a little card right here. Hold that up. Hold that up. So please feel free to stop in one more. Like I said, it's a fun day. You get to see the kids. They give speeches. And some of the kids who don't necessarily get a chance to speak in a traditional, ceremony. So it's a really fun day. Our next board meeting is February 5th, and we'll be in touch with you before that. And our next governance meeting is all the way in March. I think that's all I have. This is our really quick, this is culinary. Our chef got some free pumpkins today for Thanksgiving, so they had a pumpkin day. And these are our nursing students at a nursing home during their clinical visits to complete their hours. Is that it? Any other questions?
Very great information. No questions. Great information, great things going on.
Thank you.
Keep it up.
Thank you very much.
Sounds like you are great teamwork.
Good team. Yes, sir. Just want to say, glad that you all were asked to serve. I'm glad that you answered the call to serve. And I'm feel fortunate, working alongside you as well. And I'm just kidding. That's a joke. But I think, thank you for I think it's obviously integral to what happens.
And I'll say to go to that. But I would like for us to start to put more information out of the good. This is great information, but if we don't get out doing it, they don't know. Or before we get students sharing and talking and like that interview. One is going to help, but it's just a great to just put that positive.
We'll try. We're trying.
If, one of the things I really would we can do is, you introduce the board members to each other, to ourselves and each other. Can we go around and, people and club names to send it, so that these people you're working with, and if you can give us a little background about yourself, as the board members have. Just find out what would you like to talk about. Since you're involved in everything.
Yes, I'm the office manager slash board secretary for ACE, and I've been working in a couple different schools. And very happy to be at ACE. I'm originally from Ohio, and I know I'm sorry, some people don't like that, but I'm from Ohio, and I'm an Ohio State fan. And I went to the school here in Ohio. When I work here, back into this atmosphere. It's a great place to be. Love the students. Enjoy. I'm busy a lot, but I enjoy it very much so. I have 2 grown sons, and I live in Bluff.
And she's the support staff here at ACE.
Yes, that's
I'm Carrie Chapel, Assistant Director here at ACE. I'm my 2nd year at ACE, but I have worked at the Beaufort County School District since 2005, as a teacher, assistant principal at high school, at the district office, and here. And this is an absolutely awesome place. So very glad to be here.
CMO, computer technician. Take care of all the technology here at ACE. I've been here since 2016. Before here, I worked at technology as well.
Well, I met everybody earlier, but Mike Lovecchio, this is my 11th year. Prior to this, I was a high school, middle school principal, high school assistant principal, both history. I'm a big Patriots fan. And I've learned that the key to Mr. Dallas having those cookies back there. That's what well said.
And we'll come back to the superintendent.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
High school district for 24 years, all in finance. For that, so that gave you my background a lot further.
Again, I continue to be impressed with the operations here. This is maybe my third, fourth trip here. And I'm more impressed every time I'm I'm the interim CFO of Jasper County School District. I also went to USC, the University of South Carolina, and I'm a graduate of Beaufort High School. So I like coming home here. I don't live here. I was previously, up until 2:30 the CFO of Lake County District. So, I'm happy to be with Jasper County School District now, making progress. I love working with these people. Couldn't have a physical agent right here. I can tell you, this lady, and I love working with Dr. Hooks as well. Exactly what we needed her. So I'm happy to be here. And thank you.
I'm Katie Avar, I'm the Director of Budget. I've been the ACE accountant for 4 years. It's-
Thank you all. Now, with great deference to our two superb superintendents.
Council, go ahead.
I saw that.
Education for 43 years. Math teacher, started out in elementary, a long time ago was principal in math. Served as assistant principal, a middle school, law, director of federal program, assistant superintendent, and then I served 1 month shy of 10 years. I'm honored to be here in Jasper. People, we have great work that we're doing for. So that, try to remind everyone that's the only reason it exists is to make a difference in their lives and improve the outcomes of us. I am honored to be here. I'm proud to be here.
Probably shouldn't say that
We make a great team working truly for the good of Jasper. And you guys, I really appreciate you to serve. Appreciate all of you.
Frank Rodriguez, Superintendent of Beaufort County, and I started in 2019. Prior to that, I served 26 years at that time. County and transitioned here in 2019. I have 2 boys. One graduated from Boston High. He's a junior at the University of North Florida. He's the youngest is a junior at Bluffton right now, and he is just getting ready to get his Eagle Scout. He is he wants to fly planes, so go to the Air Force. All that plays out. That's his goal. My wife is a pediatric physical therapist. She's here, and we actually fell in love with it here, just for the community to work with. Excited about what happens in the case. I'm really here to get a chance to talk to students here, students and that feel and really connected to their way. They're choosing it, you know, it makes a huge difference. Right? And they're very connected. So, I visit frequently, and I meet with kids a couple times a year, where I get a chance to just talk what their experiences are. And it's always just an awesome opportunity. When I get that too, to come and visit and talk to students, I know you'll be blown away. They're amazing. So,
Outstanding. Welcome, everyone. Please. Dr. Lovecchio, if I could just put one inquiry. The mayor was at a governance meeting, but would there be an opportunity maybe at a board meeting, I think in February? You might want to, in the new board, in terms of presentation of need, what items are on the radar that we sort of need to sort of say this kind of sooner than later in the August plan, with operation with the gaps of the two superintendents. Is that okay? Both. Okay. No further comments, what have you? Is there a motion for adjournment? Thank you. And second? Proper motion second, and thank you all. You're a great team. Look forward to all of you accomplish all our goals. Thank you. You're welcome.